the hostages.
Okay, let's talk about the hostages. The state of Israel currently has almost 6,000 Palestinian political prisoners. Most of those prisoners have not had an opportunity for due process. The state of Israel calls those administrative detainees. About 160 of those detainees are children. Since 2000, the state of Israel has arrested almost 12,000 Palestinian children. And some of those people being illegally held by the state of Israel have been in there for over 30 years without any sort of due process. And do you know what the tactics are for the state of Israel for political prisoners? The state of Israel uses sexual violence, waterboarding, beating, torture, burning, and countless other tactics to torture Palestinian political prisoners. And that includes children. Do you know that Israeli occupation forces are going around to homes in the West Bank to detain Palestinians just because they're Palestinian? They are also going around and detaining any Israeli that wants to free Palestine. So yeah, the enemy right now is the state of Israel. So Ariella, because you continue to spread Zionist propaganda, I just want to say that you are a horrible, racist, genocidal, white person that really needs to evaluate why you want Palestinians dead. Free Palestine.
If you've watched the news at all over the last week, you've probably heard them talk about hostages being taken captive by Hamas. But ask yourself, when was the last time you heard them talk about the 1,200 Palestinians who have been arrested by Israel and held in prison without trial, without even any reasoning given by the Israeli authorities? They've literally just been arresting and detaining these people without giving a reason, and the media doesn't make a peep about it. But then when the Palestinians take Israeli prisoners, it's front page news for a week. Also, the people taken by Hamas are hostages. The people taken by Israel are prisoners, even though these people never got a fair trial and they're being arrested without charge. Don't let yourself be manipulated by this mainstream media framing. Israel is a colonizing and occupying power that enforces an apartheid on Palestinian Arabs. They also get well over $3 billion a year from the United States and are always covered positively in the Western media. But what they do to the Palestinians on a daily basis is freaking criminal, and everybody should be against it.
The Israeli occupation forces just kidnapped a 3-year-old Palestinian child to pressure his father to turn himself in. His father is Najib Mafarha from Ramallah. And you know, this is crazy because did the same thing to Israelis and they kept crying and they called terrorists and child kidnappers. They called animals and barbarians. But Israelis have been doing the same thing and worse to Palestinians for over 75 years. And now they just kidnapped a 3-year-old child. The world is so messed up. And Israeli propaganda, oof! That manipulation is so delusional. Y'all are so biased. No, actually, you're worse. But you pretend not to be.
October 12, 2015, Ahmed Manasra was 13 years old, walking with his 15-year-old cousin Hassan in the streets when they got attacked by Israeli settlers who claim that Ahmed and Hassan had attacked one of them. Hassan was shot and killed immediately, but Ahmed was attacked by Israeli occupation forces, got beaten, and they ran him over with a car. Then he was taken under their custody to a hospital with a fractured skull and internally bleeding. They interrogated him at 13 years old, without the presence of his parents or an attorney. end, even though the claims had no proof or evidence, Ahmed was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Ahmed is 21 years old now, and due to the amount of physical and mental torture he has endured, and being in a solitary confinement for the last 2 years, he got diagnosed with schizophrenia and severe depression. Ahmed Manasra is just one example of many Palestinian children getting abused on the daily. This is not a war or conflict. This is defense against genocide.